Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. Donde sea que estés en este momento, esto es El Momento, and I am your host, Eleanor Orrillo. Happy National Youth Confidence Day. Bet you didn't know that was happening today. In honor of this holiday, today's episode is about the youth and the effect of technology on their minds. Now, I know I say there, but I'm also technically included in this pile. Guilty! In any case, let us go ahead and get started with this episode as it's a jam packed one. Let's start by defining our generations. Generation Z typically includes those born from the mid to late 1990s to the early 2010s, myself included, while Generation Alpha consists of those born from around 2010 to the mid 2020s. Both groups are considered digital natives, growing up with technology as a core part of their daily lives. Technology has certainly brought about incredible changes, from smartphones and social media to virtual reality and artificial intelligence. These tools have transformed how young people connect, learn, and express themselves. But with these advancements come significant challenges. Let's talk about dependency. Studies show that Gen Z spends on average 7 to 9 hours a day on screens. For Gen Alpha, it's even more, with younger kids using tablets and smartphones for everything from education to entertainment. This reliance on technology can be beneficial in many ways, enhancing learning and providing social connections. However, it also raises serious concerns. The constant access to information and social platforms can lead to overwhelming pressure. These young individuals often feel the need to be constantly on, leading to burnout and anxiety. I went on a social media sabbatical of sorts in middle school when my parents realized I was spending too much time on my devices and not enough time doing anything else. At first, I fought tooth and nail to get my phone back. I screamed and cried, saying that they were taking away my rights, which is oftentimes a narrative a lot of young people use when these things happen. After a few months without it, I honestly felt better, not only about myself, but also about my family and what was going on around me. I was no longer being subjected to the constant narrative of, oh, look, here's someone whose life is better than yours, but rather I actually got to take a breath of fresh air. The pressure to maintain an online presence can be intense. For many, social media is a double edged sword. It provides a platform for self expression, but also creates a breeding ground for comparison and unrealistic expectations. Studies have linked heavy social media use with increased rates of anxiety, depression, and low self esteem among teens. Now, let's dig deeper into the mental health implications. The American Psychological Association has reported that anxiety and depression rates have surged among both Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Screen time, particularly on social media, has been cited as a significant contributor. What's particularly troubling is that these effects are not uniform. They can vary widely based on factors like age, personality, and the content consumed. Younger users are especially Younger users are especially vulnerable as they are still developing their sense of identity and self-worth. It's hard to ignore your flaws when you're constantly being subjected to the narrative that you can be perfect. You can't be confident if you spend your whole life believing that you're worthless. I've touched on the subject before on my episode about 10-year-olds in Sephora, but it's something that seems to increase every day. Sometimes I'll be scrolling through social media and I'll come across a video of someone who's conventionally attractive, and I think to myself, wow, I wish I looked like her. Or wow, I wish I had that wardrobe. Or wow, I wish my day looked that glamorous. Or something along the lines of that. Suddenly, my mood for the day is set. I've already put myself down. Now imagine that experience, but instead of me, picture someone you love. This could be a younger sister, brother, your cousin, a friend. Oftentimes, when these experiences happen over and over again, it causes people to take serious actions that can't be taken back. Instead of uniting us, social media is tearing us apart. So, what can be done? The conversation around technology and mental health is evolving, and it's essential to find a balance. Encouraging digital literacy is key. Teaching young people not just how to use technology, but how to use it mindfully and responsibly can empower them to make healthier choices. One example of this is the nonprofit The Social Institute. They have student ambassadors who give input onto their digital lessons that are then provided to schools nationwide and globally. I am one of their student ambassadors, and it's been almost a year since I've started working with them, and the experience has been phenomenal. It's been fun recording lessons and having a voice in what is being taught to students across the world. If you would be interested in becoming one of their student ambassadors, I will link the application down in the description below. Parents and educators can also play a vital role here. Setting boundaries around screen time and encouraging offline activities like sports, reading, or simply spending time in nature can help mitigate some of the negative effects of tech dependency. Through social media, kids often feel like parents shouldn't be involved in their lives after they hit a certain age. As soon as you get your first phone, you start feeling like you're the most grown up in the house and that you know more than your parents ever will. I am a living testament that that will never be fully true. You may be more educated in certain areas than your parents might, but they will always have this sort of infinite knowledge that you couldn't understand until you have some of those life experiences. Granted, the time that they may have been raised could be completely different, is completely different than the one that you're being raised in now, but they will always be looking out in your best interest. And I think social media oftentimes has the narrative that no, you shouldn't, your parents don't know what's going on in your life, and you shouldn't be talking to your parents about what you're seeing on here because of the fact that they wouldn't understand. And if they don't understand, then they're just going to critique you. And I think that that is truly causing such a divide between these kids that are on these apps and then their parents who truly are oblivious to what's going on. I think parents have such a large role when it comes to what their kids are seeing online, and they really don't realize it because they don't know exactly. No one's letting them in, no one's giving them that entrance way because social media realizes that, I think, I would like to think that these companies realize that as soon as these parents take note of what's happening to their kids, this change that's almost going on, that they're going to want an action to be taken and they're going to have their kids get off of these apps. And then these kids are going to realize, whoa, hey, wait a minute. Actually, social media was making my life miserable. And then there goes your ideal customer for these companies. And so I think parents underestimate how large of a role they can play in this specific instance. To that point, creating safe spaces for conversations about mental health is also crucial. Encouraging openness about feelings and experiences can help destigmatize these issues. Schools and communities can implement programs that focus on mental wellness, teaching coping strategies, and resilience. Finally, let's not forget the role of technology itself in this narrative. There are apps and platforms designed to promote mental health awareness, mindfulness, and well being. This technology can be part of the solution, not just the problem. Alongside this, the owners and CEOs of these companies should be aware of the mental health implications they are creating. A 9-year-old shouldn't go on TikTok and immediately be bombarded by products that are purposely promoted to sell a specific image. In my opinion, a 9-year-old shouldn't be on TikTok, period. In conclusion, the relationship between Generation Z, Generation Alpha, and technology is complex and multifaceted. While it offers unparalleled opportunities for connection and growth, it also poses significant challenges for mental health. As we move forward, it's crucial for us, parents, educators, and society as a whole, to support these generations in navigating this digital landscape with intention and care. These, oh, these these new generations are our future. Let's uplift them so they can actually be around to create it. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Remember, if you're listening to us on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. As a reminder, if you or your loved one is ever going through a tough time mentally or emotionally, talk to someone and seek assistance. As always, I'm your host, Eleanor Orrillo, and this has been El Momento. I'll see you next week.